would be at home. This is our shelter for children with disabilities, and they're waiting for us to come back. This is really a fun place to work. Okay. TeKisha, let's turn this one over to you, and you can talk about working in women's shelters.
Sure. So, I mean, during I believe my first trip, I was able to work at a women's shelter every day during the service learning period, and I've gone back every trip since, at least once, oftentimes, more than once, to help out. And these students are often interested in social work, counseling, therapy, and those types of careers, more like, human service oriented careers. And the type of work that we do at the shelter really varies depending on what they need. But most often we develop some type of programming where we have dedicated time on how we spend the day with the women in the shelter during their free period. So for example, students have often developed, entrepreneurial workshops, or we would do a wellness day where they would learn about self-care, how to take care of their menstrual cycle and different things of that nature that may have been less familiar to them. I once led a relationship education workshop while we were there. We had exercise days, which were some people's favorite and some people's least favorite. We had dance days. We had days where they learned about actual human development because they all were mothers for the most part. And so they got to learn about the development of their own children. And they also got to learn about, basic life skills like budgeting. And these were often experiences that some of the students were learning alongside these adult mothers, because it's programming that you don't necessarily know that you have to do until you get there. And so the students would come home with homework and have to research about, whatever the topic was for the upcoming day and prepare an activity to make sure they filled up that time. And so with that shelter in particular, we often worked with the adults, but we also had the opportunity to work with the children. And in those instances, they would help out in the preschool, either through reading books, through creating crafts for the kids. So we would take things like toilet paper rolls and fill them with the rice and beads and all types of things that we can find cheaply around town, just to create different sensory items, so that there were a number of different toys that would help stimulate the children's senses while they were in the preschool as well. So there were a lot of different ways for us to be engaged. And of course, there's always administrative tasks we can help with, including organizing, developing websites. And one of the most fun things that I don't think any of the students ever really expect, but has been a frequent opportunity, is the chance to cook a meal for the ladies. And often they want something that's, traditional American food, and then they cook something for the students that might be traditional South African food. So that has always been a fun experience as well. So it's really relationship building. And these group of students who go to the shelters are known for crying on the last day and almost making us miss our flight sometimes because they don't want to leave. So it's really about building those relationships with the clients. And sometimes that takes time, but it is always transformative by the end of the experience.
Great, thanks. And Chris, tell us about the gardens.
Yes, definitely. So during my first trip, I had the opportunity to work at the community garden, and it was a great experience. So at the community garden, students really get a chance to work alongside community members to improve their garden in a variety of ways. So depending on the needs of the community at that time, students may be planting vegetables, removing weeds, or other things related to garden upkeep. And I believe in one of the trips before I joined the team, students had provided some solutions for providing clean water to the garden as well. So additionally, the community garden is also a great spot because community members will often come in and out of the garden. So there are opportunities to engage with the community beyond work focused just on the garden. And community members are usually very curious to hear about the work that we're doing and engage in a variety of conversations. So it's really helpful in that sense as well, and just connecting with those members in a way that you may not have expected to before.
Great, thanks. And what do you expect then to gain from one of these study abroad experiences? There's a whole list. I don't need to read the slide to you, but I will say that the experiences in health and therapy fields tend to be a little more immersive, a little more relationship building, a little more hands-on than when you shadow experts in the US. So having this experience abroad and learning to collaborate with the experts in their own space and learn how people abroad problem solve in their own settings, whether it's health, shelters, gardens, counseling, their resources are different than ours. And you'll come home with a better sense of global health, global food security, and maturity, independence, and just this sense of being a good collaborator. So it's a very important experience, I think. I put a little bit on this slide about HDFS 398, the child health in South Africa with remote team internships here, because that is a course that we will keep going. In this one, it's a guided course where you get some review of child development that you may have had in some other HDFS courses. And then you learn about social and cultural contexts of the children that are being supported in South Africa. And then you work in teams of 4 to 5 students with an agency that's looking after child health or well-being. There's a co-teacher from the South African side who is a pediatrician as well and medical school instructor. Okay, we're gonna move quickly through just a few more slides. I'm going to move to the Zimbabwe program just to go through very quickly. This is a program that's split between HDFS, child health interest, and also animal science, vet med people. And so again, you're going to see just a little taste of the animal side and the health side in this program. Again, this one is 3 credit hours for pre-departure course and about a 3-week trip, this one to Zimbabwe. For those interested in health, this is a rural hospital that we work in and assist in literally all the parts of the hospital. It is pretty common to see babies being born in this hospital, to assist working with children who have serious burns. We help in the pharmacy, we help with immunization clinics that are out in some of the villages. And so this one is a really deep experience, and you have to be comfortable with children in pain and a hospital setting to work here. The animal folks on this trip work with an animal rescue farm, and this is a photo of community dog clinic where the dogs come to get a vet check and some food. The animal science people work at a game reserve. They help with a research project with elephant and rhino conservancy on that. And the health people get to go and visit as well. And then this is an absolutely beautiful picture, though not in perfect focus, of Victoria Falls. And so the tourism that we get to do in both South Africa and Zimbabwe on these trips are absolutely phenomenal. In Zimbabwe, we see Vic Falls, which is one of the 7 natural wonders of the world. And in Cape Town, we wake up every morning and go out on the street or look out the window and we see Table Mountain, which is another one of the 7 natural wonders of the world. And so you get to see the big game animals in both destinations, okay? And here we are being splashed by the spray from Vic Falls. It's just really fun to go on any of these programs with cohorts from Illinois and have a good time and have these experiences with your peers that you've been in classes with. You make friends for life, actually, and these are really fun experiences. And so you can always follow us on social media. You can check on ACE's Study Abroad online or at any of these indicated on the slide. And we hope you come and travel with us. What I have now is a slide for questions. And I can just go over some of these are the typical questions, and I would be happy for you guys. We'll see if Marile wants to do it now or wait until we've had a few student presentations. But some of the typical things that are asked by students is, how can I afford this trip? The trips do cost something. They're not free, and it depends on your location. You can study abroad in any part of the world, full semester, or there are lots of short-term faculty-led trips. And each program, depending on the cost of the flight to get there and how the trip is set up, and the tourism that you do and where you stay, and simply the cost, the exchange rate of the money in those countries are different. So to help you go on these trips, if you already qualify for financial aid as per the FAFSA form, you can get extra loan money through financial aid, and it's just the amount that fits your own particular case. The counselors there will help you figure that out. Every student that comes to Illinois pays tuition and fees. And among those fees, about $5 of every student's fees each semester goes into a fund called Illinois for Illinois, or I for I, as we like to call that. And that is a fund for scholarships for study abroad. Not all students study abroad, so sometimes there are some scholarships you can apply for up to $500. And then there's another program that kicks you into with Illinois International Program Scholarship for another one that's up to $500 of donor money. Okay, always good to fill out the forms and write well. There is the Fred S. Bailey Service Travel Scholarship. This one is not administered by the campus, but it is administered by the YMCA that is on campus for students. And this one helps pay for the travel cost. If you get this scholarship, when you write for that one, you want to state that you have financial need, okay? And because it's a service trip, you can be a little heavy on how you want to contribute to people who suffer disparities in whatever your destination is. So for my trips to Zimbabwe and South Africa, they are service trips. So you're qualified by being a part of my pre-departure course to apply for that scholarship, okay? Each college has a study abroad office, and HDFS is in ACES, and ACES has probably one of the best scholarship programs on the campus, but there are some others. LAS and the College of Education also have something, and the College of Engineering have some scholarships that you can apply for. And so that one might be another $500 to add. If you are Pell Grant eligible, there is a Gilman Scholarship, which is a national scholarship you can find online and apply for that one. And all of these scholarships, there are the short-term trip scholarships, and there are also full semester scholarships. So do your research. There may be other scholarships out there. If you're in one of the Greek houses, your national association might have a scholarship. If you've been in clubs or activities back in your home community, like Rotary International, if that club is in your community, you might be able to ask them to give you some money, and in return, give them a presentation when you get home, okay? In all of the scholarship writing that you do and application for programs, you want to write really professionally. You want to be sure to have somebody proofread it, and you want to not sound as if you are going to consume culture. I'm going to go abroad to get cultured. What you're going to do is write about how this program, the trip, wherever you're choosing to go, will impact your own personal growth, your maturity, your global awareness, and hopefully your career goals in some way. And so we also don't really want to focus on we're going to save the African babies sort of philosophy. We want to go for an immersive program, and we want to learn as much as we give. And so those are some of the key words and phrases that will help you get these scholarships. Any questions about any of this, you can contact me. My email is on the board here. And then what's left on this slide is links to some short 6 to 8 minute video clips that are like recruitment videos. Maybe we can return to those later if we have time. If not, Marilei will be sure to get the links out to everyone.